And suddenly I found that I couldn't move. It was like, this is the language I got afterwards. But in that moment, I was just not able to move, and I felt like some download is going on. I remember feeling so expanded that I couldn't see the ends of my, the end of who I was. It was like I encompassed everything.
Welcome to Multidimensional Soul Podcast, a talk show. On this show, we discuss about multiple dimensions of our soul, how we are spiritual beings on a temporary human journey. We discuss different point of views, perspectives, and dimensions of science, technology, and spirituality. We discuss about deep, profound spiritual and mystical experiences of people. We share these experiences so we shine the light within bright. Our guest today is Manisha. Manisha is the co founder of Impossible Transformations. She founded multiple social enterprises and think tanks in the UK. She's done MBA from London Business School and has done Masters in Science and Technology from BITS India. She's known for her programs like Being Centered Leadership and Lead Like Gandhi. Manisha has shared very profound experiences where she experienced unity consciousness and totality. So let's dive right in. Welcome, Manisha. Now, can you tell us a little bit about how your childhood was and whether you were introduced to spirituality right from your childhood?
Firstly, thank you for inviting me. It's a real pleasure to be here. Um, I don't think I was spiritually aware when I was young. I don't remember having any specific experience apart from just enjoying aspects of religious rituals to some extent, not all of it. So, yeah, not a lot in my childhood.
So, how did you get introduced to the whole being part of it and the spirituality part of it?
I remember, I think I was in my early 30s that, I mean, I suppose in my 20s, I really wanted to know who am I truly, apart from the roles and the responsibilities and the aspirations and, the whole cycle of looking at what do we need to achieve in life to become something. So the whole journey had been about becoming something. And somewhere along the way, it felt it wasn't enough because. Um, it just didn't feel internally that this is all I'm here to do is to, just achieve and excel at all these things. And I remember exploring courses like Landmark, just to understand what else is there to one beyond psychology, because psychology gave me a sense of, it didn't give me a sense of who I am. It gave me a sense of how I operate from a deeper sense, but not enough. So, I think in my early 30s, I distinctly remember standing at a wedding and saying, is this all life is meant to be? That we grow up, we learn, we educate ourselves, we marry, we look after our kids, and it's all done. And is that it? And something about it I felt like a disillusion in this world about living that life. And so felt called to really explore it again deeply, and that started my journey in spirituality, where I must have explored a lot of books, went to a lot of courses, everything from Silva method to zero point frequency to law of attraction to all the new age stuff to exploring art of living to Kanyakumari. No, what do I mean? Brahmakumari. Sorry, and just exploring the Eastern and the Western spiritual philosophies beyond religion was what I was attracted to. And I think the more I explored, the more I understood that I was more than this. And I even had experiences of that I am a being, I am a soul, I am a spirit. I couldn't make the distinctions between all of them, but I knew that there was a energy force inside me that felt so much more powerful than anything else I had experienced in my life. So, and and I had different experiences of, this new realms opening up to me, new worlds opening up to me, which I got terribly excited about, and I just continued seeking and exploring for almost 15 years. Yeah.
Wow, that's a
Mhm.
long journey.
Mm,
So, for our audience, can you tell
mm,
us about the experiences specifically you had? And as there are some teachers who say that
mm,
don't do too much spiritual shopping or don't go on too many paths. And then there are some who say that whatever you are guided on, you go on doing that from within.
mm,
And it doesn't matter, like, even if you
mm.
change your spiritual path, because there is no one particular path that you need to take. So, what is your take on that, and how did you get these, as in, what kind of experiences did you get?
Yeah, so answering to your first point, I think I'm one of these examples where I must have followed many different paths. I remember following the path of looking at energy, consciousness, and evolving with that. I remember looking at Ramana Maharshi's work and following Muji for almost 6 years, looking at self-inquiry and Advaita Vedanta kind of philosophy, and I literally, went straight into it. I remember even focusing a lot on the New Age stuff to understand the law of attraction and really get to the depths of it, to the true depths of it, apart from what was, being shared all across the world by Rhonda. Beyond that, looking at the work with Abraham. So for me, each path I remember gave me something because at the end of that path, I knew I had learned what I needed to learn. So when I moved to the next path, it kind of built on what I had known and evolved in myself and allowed me to then, continue that path. So I I think whatever path is true for you, if it is the guru's path, it is the guru's path. If it is the path of looking at many different avenues to learn the various aspects that you have to absorb into your consciousness, then you do that. My journey, I think, with what began the kind of experiences I had, um, there were so many, but I think I'd like to share two of those with all of you. Um, one one happened when I was in the midst of the Silva method course, which was about working at the alpha frequencies and the theta frequencies, and something got awakened in me. It was like my mind was no longer constrained in the worldview I had. It just opened up. It opened up. I remember walking on the streets in London and saying, I can see so many possibilities. I can, there's just so much that's possible in the world, and nothing, it felt limitless. It really felt limitless. And I was on such a high that I didn't know what to do with that energy, actually. I remember just going up and down, talking to a few people, experiencing this, and I then just stayed with it and went back to my course and shared it there. But I think what was beautiful was it opened me up to new realms that I wasn't even aware of. I think all I knew was this world that we touch, feel, and are educated about. Um, I think the new world, I call it the esoteric world, opened up for me in a way that I had not experienced before. And it was amazing. Um, and I think the second experience I had was the more was was really a very deep experience, a very full experience. It wasn't just, the mind exploring. It was like a fuller experience of me and my being. And it was when I was sitting here in England at the Indian High Commission trying to get my OCI done. And And suddenly I found that I couldn't move. It was like, this is the language I got afterwards. But in that moment, I was just not able to move, and I felt like some download is going on. And whilst the download was going on, I could hear everybody, but I was in my own bubble, in my own experience, so I couldn't come out of it. And if I wanted to move in my seat, I couldn't even do that. And part of my mind was saying, if I get the call to go and check out my, application, how will I move? But part of me said, if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. So I just settled into, this download. And when that download finished, I don't know how long it was, maybe even just 10 minutes, but that just blew my world away. I mean, I remember feeling so expanded that I couldn't see the ends of my, the end of who I was. It was like I encompassed everything. So, and I just felt a tremendous amount of love for everybody. It was just like something, um, I think it was a trailer God is giving, playing tricks on you, saying, "Oh, there's so much more to you, but you get only so much of it for now." However, I remember walking in at the station in King's Cross, and there were so many people around me, but I didn't feel I was next to them. I felt like they were walking through me. So, and as I was looking at them, I could even sense, what is it that's limiting them? What is it that's blocking them? It was like a feeling like if I could just take away their blocks, they could just merge into me, or we could all be together, or something like that. It just felt incredibly, I don't know how else to express it, but it was really, really profound. And it lasted for a whole day. This is the first time an experience lasted like for a whole day. And all I was feeling like I could just keep being this rather than be the human that I am. Could I just be this? And uh, when that experience went, I remember feeling, oh, what can I do to bring it back? You know, what can I do to be this rather than, be the human being I am? And and I remember one of my teachers at that time, her name's Solera Green, and she was saying, that's for you to just experience how much more you are than this. And it's not for finding tools and ways in which you can get the experience back. It comes to you when it needs to come to you. So it's not something you can pursue. And I remember similar things said by Muji as well, where he mentioned experiences will come and go. That's not what you're focusing on. What you're focusing on is from where has it appeared from in the first place, so that you can settle more into the I am that. And yeah, so this opened up another world that I wish I can live in all the time.
So beautiful and powerful. So these experiences, and these are very different experiences, beyond our normal experiences. It's very deep, very profound. After integrating them in your normal life, how have they shaped you, and how have they impacted your life?
I think in so many ways, to the extent that I couldn't go back to living a traditional type of life. Traditional, by that I mean, going out, achieving, doing the work, and all of it. I just knew that I had to explore this world even more. And in that exploration, I think I found slowly my own purpose of life. And it felt that this purpose was of my life was to make this available to more people. I didn't have the complete answer, so that was my journey for the next few years. But the more I was exposed to this, I knew that my life I don't know. I think for a few years I was a bit unclear on how where my path should go, because this was not a world that's currently available to you all the time, so you know how to navigate. So the rest of the time was just left in meeting a lot of people, understanding how they were living their lives, what had opened up for them, and understanding this new world called the four-dimensional world, the fifth dimensional, and maybe there's many more dimensions. But just knowing that one could live a life in this planet from a different level of consciousness was where I wanted to play. So I think I let go. I let go of my aspirations of and the ambitions that I had, which was beautiful to let go in many ways because it was just driving you from a very different space. And I wanted to be living and operating my life from this space. Um, so it became a huge internal journey more than an external journey initially. But as time passed, the work became about that. So no longer I could only just talk about finance and management and consulting and all of it, which I had done. I needed to bring the beauty, the depth, the vastness, the magnificence that exists in every human being. And I truly wanted that to become available to each human being so that they can operate from there. Um, but I still haven't had that experience again. So there's a part of me wanting to say, but I know seeking it doesn't bring it either. However, living more and more from this space just gives me so much joy and magic in my world, actually. So many miraculous things happen. Um, to the extent that now they've become the norm, so they don't feel miraculous anymore. It just feels, that's a lovely coincidence. But yes, that's how life is, you know. Life just works in this new way rather than the way that we feel we have to put in so much effort, we have to drive ourselves, we have to be ambitious, we have to get somewhere. And somehow, when you settle into this, you're more and more connected to the source, to the universe, and you are such a conduit for things to flow. So your focus is in every moment, who are you here to be and create and operate from there. So that's life right now.
Beautiful. So, what practices do you do on daily basis? What kind of routine do you follow to live at that level of consciousness, 5D or more?
I think in the past, I would spend a lot of time meditating, listening to a lot of um, teachers or other human beings that I felt resonance with, and I would listen to a lot of that. I would go to retreats. That was my journey to continuously evolve. Um, However, since I'm finding myself on the path and doing the work that I'm doing, that itself is the practice. So I'm not feeling a call in myself internally to specifically sit down and follow any practices. So to be in the present and maybe to keep my mind as empty because that's where my focus is these days, not consciously, I just notice how much of letting go has happened, that there isn't so much going on in the mind, that I can be in tune with what is in the present, what's happening inside me, what's needed around. So there's a awareness and feeling a sense of being awake, like truly awake in the moment. The other day, I was telling my friend, I just feel like I can see so much more from my eyes. It's not like I'm seeing other entities or I'm seeing other levels of consciousness, but this world I'm seeing without as many veils coming off. So the truth of anything I'm able to see so much more. I'm sure there's more depths to go into, um, but that's where I am. And at the same time, staying with the space that I don't know very much. Even though I may be imparting some knowledge or ways of being or some body of work around being centeredness, which is the focus right now, I still know that I don't know it all.
Mm.
I still know that there is so much more that's available. And what I know is a small part of the whole. So, in many ways, that leaves me open to, oh, a new insight, a new piece of knowledge, a new piece of wisdom. But more and more, even if it's coming from a little talk here or somebody speaking something, a lot of the insights are coming from within. So if I get a new understanding of something or a new clarity, most of the time it's coming from within. Or an experience is triggering it, but the insight is coming from within. So that's the practice. To be more and more with myself, to be more and more present, to be more and more empty, and to be, if that's a practice, then that's a practice. But for me, it's not I'm not doing specifically anything consciously to keep that available to me. I'm just living every single day open.
Okay,
Mhm.
so you're just letting the life unfold. Right?
Letting life unfold, but being very conscious, being very, very conscious of how life is unfolding and who am I being and who am I operating as. And also recognizing that that's not how I can adapt and shift and change.
When you said that you receive insights from within,
Mm,
so a lot of people are looking for their life purpose or even otherwise general decisions that they need
mm,
to do, need to make on day-to-day basis. They look for insights and guidance.
mm.
And you said that you get it from within. So do you connect with the source? Do you connect with anybody else? How do you get those insights?
So the only answer I have for that is I somehow feel that I'm connected to source all the time. So I don't feel a disconnect. So there's a fullness inside me that I sense, which means I don't feel a lack of anything. I feel there's um, a sense of connection with source, and I'm also aware of my humanness, if we want to call it that. Aspects of me that, whether there's a belief system sitting somewhere that comes up, or parts of my ego that come up, but I'm conscious that that's playing out, and that's still part of who I am. But the connection with source is where the insights come from. So if I'm in a scenario where I'm maybe, say, conducting a workshop, my intuition begins to play very strongly because it says this is what's required in the room right now, and then I'll operate to make sure that that's what happens. Or I'll get an insight of what I need to say to somebody. Or if it's for my life itself, if I sit with myself and I just ask the question, I'll get the answer. And if there isn't an answer, I just continue operating the way I need to operate. So, however, I'm finding because I'm in the space that I've consciously chosen or I felt right that I'm on the path of looking at this world of being and what does it take to operate from here. And um, so I keep getting new insights to expand that body of work constantly. So I find now that I am going deeper and deeper into that, and whatever feeds into that, I work with it. But to be in that focused space of a particular area, I'm having to consciously not tap into too many others pieces of knowledge. So whatever I've done in the past has been done, but right now I'm feeling called to not put all that, keep clear. So if anything new needs to come in connection to this, it comes in that way. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah,
Mm,
definitely. Um, lot is happening in the world right now in terms of we are ascending, and there's a lot of chaos also happening and a lot of things coming to surface. The power games and the wars are happening. We just had COVID, and so there is a lot of chaos and negativity on one side. On the other side, there's a lot of people waking up and finding who they are really and doing the work, spreading love and light. and ascending. So, in all of this happening, what is your view energetically? What do you sense? Where are we going as a planet and as humanity?
I'm not sure if I'm equipped to say all of it in terms of where we are going and where the planet is going. The only sense I get is if you're on this journey of awakening to the truth of who you are, the world of war, chaos, killing, hurting other human beings is not available in your consciousness.
Mhm.
Because the more you sense the truth of who you are and you know you're this magnificent being, you'll find it very, very hard to hurt others. And if you do, it has a repercussion straight away on you. So it doesn't feel true, doesn't feel right. So, so the only thing, and I feel obviously I can feel if I tap into the energy of the wars, I can feel the pain that and the chaos and the atrocities and all of it. But if I'm there, then I find it very difficult to be here in the space of the purity of who one can be. So so I choose to be in this space, but I choose to be in service of anyone who's ready to move into this space. Anyone who's, in the world of war. And I'm not saying there's only a duality of this and this. I'm sure that there's a spectrum of people. Some are available, circumstances are not making it okay, some are struggling. So all of that is also happening. But I think we're moving. If there are so many people waking up, there's a reason why we're waking up. It didn't happen, it happened to very few people many, thousands of years ago. So if we are waking up to the truth of who we are, and that much light is spreading into earth, I'm sure there will be a turning point when it won't be possible for people to create war, to create atrocities, to incur so much suffering into the world. So I think we're on that trajectory. That's all I know. Where the planet will be, whether we are going to survive as a species whilst we are destroying the planet, and there's only a few of us who are in the space of light. Um, Difficult. Yeah, I'm not wanting to give a prognosis, but I know um, as long as we keep be in service of humanity and the planet, I think that's just the right path to take for everybody right now, collectively. That's my only thought.
Because we talked about war and you have had experience where you were deeply disturbed by some of the
Yeah.
situations here in UK, and we are recording this in UK.
Mhm.
So can you talk a little bit about that, how you came out of that, and people who are empaths especially and get disturbed because of whatever is happening around them, how do you come out of that and live from the space of magnificent being?
Mhm. That's a journey in itself, but a beautiful question. So, I was here when the bombing happened in London, and I mean, it was just it was just a huge atrocity because so many innocent people just died. It hits me even now. I remember coming back. No, I remember being at Finsbury Park Station after the whole incident had happened. And also my ex-husband had been uh in the compartment where the bomber was. So, thankfully he made it through all of that. But I remember very distinctly sitting at Finsbury Park one day and opening the paper. And there were two long spreadsheets of faces of people who had died. And something just opened up in me. I think something opened up in me that I was in tears for so long. I couldn't stop myself from crying. And I remember that continued for a whole year as if I tapped into something to the extent that I could even feel the frequencies uh, of World War II. I could feel uh, so many more things. I don't even know where to start. I remember feeling it for what happened in Germany. I'm forgetting the name of the place where the Jews were killed.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm just, it's blanking on me right
Yeah.
now. Yeah, but where all the Jews were, yeah, just burnt or killed.
Yeah.
Um, and and I think I tapped into a whole frequency of feeling the pain of the world. Even if I tapped into a past event, I could feel the pain. The current one, I could feel pain. So I would be awake at nights, just being in tears, not knowing what to do with this because I hadn't experienced all of it, but something had opened up in me. And I think I must have tried so many things because it just left such a deep sadness inside me all the time. And I think the only person who finally helped me come out of it was Solaria, who got me to come out of that frequency that I was hooked into. And it's only then I could begin to live my life with just me and not this pain that I had felt. But just feeling all of that must have been a purpose. So I went down this whole journey of looking at conflict, of creating peace, of, you know, all of it, doing process work, and just realized that I think we, I think that just eventually made me realize that the one biggest thing if we can do on this planet is to have every human being wake up. If they wake up, then all of this is just not possible. You can put lots of initiatives to not make it happen, but that's not the point. The point is, why is it that a human being is doing this in the first place? And I think if they're in touch with who they truly are, they can recognize the preciousness of each soul on this planet and come from the space of nurturing and being together with it. I don't think they can even have the capacity to harm another. Not only human beings, even the planet. I don't think we've got this sense. We're all awakened to that we have to be good with the planet, but I don't think we have yet got the hang of how do we need to be with it for it to not, deteriorate further. But then I also have this thought that the planet as its own being is much, much more powerful than all of us put together. So uh, I think it's choosing what it's choosing, and I think it can survive many, many. Um, I think it can survive us. We are the ones who will be threatened off this planet rather than the planet being going dead, because I think the planet can swing a completely different era and still be around. And it's maybe it'll have its own time when it needs to go. But at this moment in time, we are in danger, not the planet.
Okay.
That's my sense.
Okay. So, such profound experiences you've had, tapping into the extreme pain of the world, and on one hand, and on the other hand, extreme bliss and unity consciousness, where you became everything, and just this magnificent, I would say divine. So, from there to here, would you say that on day-to-day basis when we live, we need to tap into the different frequencies or raise our vibration and frequency to get to that place of unity consciousness and expansion of consciousness?
I think my understanding is that once you wake up, it's like your system is geared up to keep evolving even more so. So I know we can consciously, not artificially, but more consciously do things that make us feel better.
Mhm.
Correct? So sometimes you may want to um, do positive things or create a space that allows you to feel better, all of that. However, at the end of the day, you could be sitting anywhere and you could still be evolving, whether you did something or not. The moment you're awake, your journey of evolution just begins. How conscious you are about the shifts that are happening, it's a choice that you do. But you could be doing the most mundane of tasks and you could still be evolving by just becoming a better version of yourself each and every day. So you may not be looking at it from a space of vibration. You may be just looking at a space of, I am, mm, you know, looking at life differently. I am connected to human beings much more. I feel awe, I feel wonder, I feel this. But it may not be a connection to vibration. If you're not used to the world of vibration, even though you can sense it, but you don't understand it, you could still be evolving. That's my understanding at this moment. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm.
As human beings, we inherently are born with desires, and you said that you have done law of attraction, but you did much more than what Rhonda did. So, can you talk a little bit about manifestation from the place of being and from the 5D manifestation?
Yeah. Interesting. I remember when I used to use the law of attraction techniques earlier, um, they were very focused on I have this desire that I really want in my life. And I know I used to tap into the energy of can I make it present in my life right now? And then that's how it would manifest. I found that journey really hard at that time. And I don't know how much I manifested, frankly. So I did play, but I didn't feel that I truly manifested. But something is different now. I think partly something has shifted inside me that I feel my existence is not just for what I need in the world. So the moment my purpose became clear, my pathway became clear, and I know I'm here to contribute to the world that I am, and I feel I'm right on the path. Every desire now, or even if it comes, even if it might be personal, it somehow just manifests with just the thought being present in my consciousness.
Okay.
So I'm trying to unpack it at this moment, and as you're asking, because yes, I have desires. I want to travel. I want to be with my daughter. I want to buy things. I want to, live comfortably. All of it is there. However, because I feel I'm also on my path, it just feels like the alignment with the universe is clearer. I think maybe that's what it is. It's the alignment with the universe, it's clearer, so it comes into manifestation very well, very easily. But at the same time, I find that if I want anything, say for the work I'm doing, that also manifests very quickly. But that is always there for the purpose of what I have to do in the world. So it could be that what needs to happen in the world right now and where I am in bringing it into the world is aligning.
Mhm.
So anything that's connected to that needs to happen seems to be happening much more seamlessly. However, there are two techniques that I've used. One is I've consciously created vision boards from a space of what is wanting to emerge right now from my own system and having that articulated beautifully and in a very conscious and profound way. And that just materializes. It's like I put it up, and as if that energy is gone, into the world, and then all of it is coming back in. That's kind of how it's happened because the energy has been doing the work, and I'm not doing the work. I'm intending it, I'm creating it, I'm doing whatever I can. but the rest is being done by the energy itself. And recently, I think as part of a group of women that are working on manifesting um, online, I've really taken to this piece about scripting in the morning, how I'd like my day to be. And somehow, not only that does it shift my energy, but it also gets me to be very conscious of how I'm living my day. Rather than letting life come at me and I respond, I've come into the creator's, role, seat to say, oh, I'd love for this day to be this way. So I think manifesting is doing well right now.
Amazing. So, can you talk a little bit about the work you do and how can people find you?
Okay. So, the work that I'm currently involved in is called being centeredness, being centered living, being centered leadership, being centered culture. Our focus is to really make this available through various journeys that we provide to people in companies, to people, to open programs as well, where people really get to the core of who they are, get an experience of their being. So our program, see, the world of this internal world can only be experienced and gotten. It cannot be understood. So our programs are such that people can truly experience the core of who they are, and something awakens in them to begin to lead life differently. And the whole worldview and paradigm is so shifted that they, yeah, they begin to look at life differently. So the experience of the being, having the purpose, clarity, and learning ways in which how you can operate from the being, whether you're leading in your work life or in your personal life. That's what these programs offer.
Okay. And where can people find you?
So our website is impossibletransformations.com, and yeah, you can connect to any of us, or yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. It was lovely chatting with you, and you've had such profound experiences, and your journey has been through eclectic moods, and you are continuing to explore more things. And I wish you all the best in your journey, and I wish you do fabulous work, continue to do that in this world, and keep spreading love and light. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It's been such a pleasure to be with you. And I know that we've had so many conversations about both our lives and how we've been through these journeys. And I just feel it's a privilege to do this with you. Thank you.
Thank you.